Dan Sapman gifted a tier 1 sub to Quetzalo Catanango. Dan Sapman gifted a tier 1 sub to Hexadecimator _ Dan Sapman gifted a tier 1 sub to Degamot _ Dan Sapman gifted a tier 1 sub to Drake Cool. Dan Sapman gifted a tier 1 sub to Eric TG. Dan Sapman gifted a tier 1 sub to Rowan the Bishop. Dan Sapman gifted a tier 1 sub to Zeldrick. Dan Sapman gifted a tier 1 sub to No Frasian. Dan Sapman gifted a tier 1 sub to The Gick. Dan Sapman gifted a tier 1 sub to Cackle Crush. Happy early birthday.
Yo, what up? It's time for a little more Path of Exile, because I'm tired and did not feel up to streaming anything more involved. And maybe I should lower my standards a little bit in terms of whether or not I feel up to playing a new game. But I have too much goddamn respect for video games. Expect nothing and deliver even less. No, not me. But Path of Exile is a game that I have played for almost 2,000 hours, so it's a little easier for me to go on autopilot. So yeah, I hope everyone has been having a good day. I think part of me not being in tip-top condition today was I ended up eating a pizza later than I had intended to. Because there were some pretty strict timers on the take and bake pizzas we got from the grocery store today. So, and we got bonus pizza because they were 2 for 1. And these take and bake pizzas are so dang good, but I will eat 3/4 of one of them, and it is a tangible amount of pizza. Yeah, I don't know how often y'all go to Hy-Vee, but the next time you go to Hy-Vee, check out the take and bake pizzas. The Italian sausage is really good. Also, I'm like weirdly low energy for having had multiple mugs of tea today, but I'll be alright. I went on a dog walk in the dark. That was exciting. It's starting to get a bit warmer, which is concerning, because once it reaches a certain level of getting warmer, then bugs are going to start coming out again, and I would rather deal with the cold than the bugs. Did the lawyer dog enjoy the walk? Maybe. I think we ended up talking about... What were we talking about? I don't think we were talking about magic on the walk. We started talking about magic when we got back. I've been very excited to touch physical magic cards lately, and we've got some new cards arriving on Friday, and while I was just sitting in the living room talking with Lawyer Dog for a bit, multiple other cards that would be good to add to my clue deck were brought up, and so I'm like, oh, maybe I should do another Card Kingdom order. Get more cards. Anyways, let's get the tunes going. This is gonna be the kind of nonsense that I'm gonna be rambling about for the next couple hours anyways, so let's do it formally. I'm pretty sure I ran the commercial, so that should be fine. I played a little bit off stream. I've got a new shield. I've got my poisonous concoction going, which is cool. It uses charges from my life flasks to throw poison at the enemy, and it deals pretty good damage. I also got Herald of Agony, which gives me a friend that throws poison at my enemies when I poison enemies. I've got Withering Step, which I think I got last stream, but I didn't really use it much. I got some unique boots. They're blocked by the... Yeah, bring them over here. Gnomic's Storm. They give me some dexterity, some evasion, some energy shield, some cold resist. Increased movement speed, and even more increased move speed while my energy shield is full, but also increased damage taken while my energy shield is full. So just don't get hit. Let's see. I think I completed all the quests on this side of the map, so let's go this way. In this act, there are some bandit leaders, and you can help one of the bandit leaders to get a unique bonus that's just always active. But usually what people will do instead is, if you kill all of the bandit leaders and help out the mayor of the settlement, then you get some extra passive points, and passive points are generally more powerful than any of the passives that are offered by helping the bandits. So I kill things a lot faster than I used to. Ooh, superior gem. if it says a gem is superior, that means it has quality on it, which can make a couple of different aspects of the gem better. But more important than that, if you trade in a bunch of gems with quality on them, then you get a currency item that you can use to increase the quality of a gem. Which is very handy for increasing the quality of gems that you actually intend to use instead of just some random nonsense. Zooming around like Vampire Survival. Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting the improved versions of multiple projectiles and volley, because currently I have volley and lesser multiple projectiles, but some of the gems that you get access to later are, I believe, greater volley and greater multiple projectiles. I'm pretty sure both of those are real gems, and they give you more projectiles, which is good. Yeah, I don't know what that's gonna do. I also don't know what's over there, so it's probably not worth it. Right, I was describing the new Path of Exile League to Lawyer Dog, and as I was describing it to him, his response was, "So they're hard at work on Path of Exile 2 is what you're telling me." Implying that they're not putting a great amount of effort into Path of Exile 1, which is probably at least somewhat accurate. But that's what you want anyways. You want the studio working on the new game instead of like kind of splitting evenly. Because if they come up with some new cool shit to put into Path of Exile, they're gonna be like, oh well, is this something we should put into Path of Exile 2 also? Keep Path of Exile 1's new additions mediocre, so that way they don't get distracted. They've got enough stuff to put into Path of Exile 2 already. If you squint your eyes, it's like Diablo 3. Yeah, a little bit. Oh yeah, another fun thing about the way Path of Exile handles its skills is certain skills can just be assigned to left mouse button, and it will always, like, left mouse button will always be move, no matter what skill you assign to it. So if you assign a skill to it, usually the skills that you can assign to your left click will be like a skill that can just activate instantly, which means so like Withering Step. It grants me a temporary buff, increases my movement speed, and makes me able to walk through enemies. Instead of, like, enemies body blocking me, I can just walk right through them. So, as long as I have the mana to cast it... Ooh, nice. As long as I have the mana to cast it, then it will just automatically activate whenever I'm running around, and it is off cooldown. Middle Ages ARPG that takes place on the Silk Road. Call it Path of Textiles. You would. Thank you for the follow, StrixelOS. Ooh, a Veil area. Monsters poison on hit, increased monster damage, but 25% increased item quality. Oh boy, oh boy. I have leveled up.
Calp4 gifted a tier 1 sub to Saint Pistones.
Oh, geez. Oh, that reminds me. I did not thank Dan for the gift subs he gave at the start of the stream.
Count
I thought I did, but I
gifted a
didn't.
tier 1
I'm
sub
sorry.
to Yak Mang.
I'll thank you both once the text-to-speech is
Count 4
over.
gifted a tier 1 sub to Zorison.
Ooh.
Count 4 gifted a tier 1 sub to Strixel S.
Calt.
Count 4 gifted a tier 1 sub to Wa8 Draws.
We good? Alright. Thank you very much, belatedly, to Dan for the 10 gift subs and $50 donation. I believe the message at the time was, happy early birthday. That's true. My birthday is on Friday, which is the day the magic cards arrive. Yeah! And thank you very much, Cult, for the... Is that 5? I believe that is 5 gift subs. Very much appreciated. Increased maximum life, gain life per enemy killed, and increased strength, which also gives life. I love survivability. I love to not die. Highly recommended. Level up dash, sure. Volley and Herald of Agony. $30 to 50 centimeters of snow on Tuesday. Nice. Hopefully that doesn't cause any problems. But having a lot of snow is cool. It's cool to look at least. Alright. One beast left to find for Einhar. So this guy's mechanic is sometimes you will go into a map or an area and he will be there, and there will be a handful of rare monsters with special modifiers, and if you kill the monsters that have those special modifiers, then you capture them. And using the monsters that you have captured, you can perform a ritual that turns them into an item. Usually a random item of some kind of specific sort. Like, you can... If you trade in these monsters, you can get a unique hat. That's nice. It's something that I will remember to use maybe 2 or 3 times a league. I usually forget. But having Einhar around does mean that at least there are extra rare monsters, which are good. So, it's not nothing. I believe in the league that capturing monsters was introduced, the Bestiary League, or something like that. You had to, like, use consumable items to capture the monsters. Like, you had to use Pokeballs to capture the monsters, which was a bad system. Nowadays, Einhar will capture the monsters, and you don't have to worry about accidentally killing the monsters or anything like that. Yeah, and the monsters could die, which was extremely bad for a game like Path of Exile, where once you get to the end game, you are regularly just completely nuking enemies from orbit. Wow, loot! There's some good unique effects with those rituals, but they can be expensive. Yeah. Like, if you're not lucky enough to have good monsters showing up, then you can easily end up in situations where you need to, like, buy an itemized version of the monster that you're looking for, and those can be pricey. Sometimes those will be just straight up more expensive than just buying the item with the effect that you would get from using the monster in a ritual. Tempted to go to the pretty good ramen place tomorrow. Yeah, I didn't get to try it out last time. I would need to take a look at the menu. Also, hopefully my stomach would hold up. My stomach has been kind of bad the last couple of days. But I want food! I enjoy food. I mean, having pizza while my stomach is bad is not great, and I'm gonna need to have the other take and bake pizza on Wednesday. So I would end up with having like 5... I would have, what? Last Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then if we have... Yeah, it would be a lot of days of delivered food in a row, which would be taxing on my stomach, but it would be delicious. Oh my god. Ooh. Wow, I found very little, but I did find a person. Ooh, a primalist person. This is what I need. Because the charms are apparently quite good. Oh yeah, Feral's Fur is one of the bestiary bosses. Alright, I've got 2 Wildwood points. And I think you get a maximum of 8, so I just can't take that one if I want all of the charm sockets, which is fine. Increased quantity of primal wisps found in the Viridian Wildwood. Cool. But also, 5% increased character size and equip a Wildwood rucksack which has 20 inventory slots. Now what does that mean? What? That's crazy. Just extra inventory slots. Wow. Well, I can't afford any of this shit. Regenerate energy shield. Regenerate life. Crit multiplier, increased effective buffs from golems. Yeah, none of these are particularly good for me, but I found the correct person, which means I now get my extra inventory space. The slot build. As Path of Exile 1 got further and further into its lifespan, it introduced more and more systems that are just, here's a thing that you can put a thing into. And the thing has randomized effects and will make you stronger. There have been so many mechanics introduced to Path of Exile that are just that. Jewels, and then cluster jewels, which have sockets themselves, which you can insert more cluster jewels or jewels into. Jewels being things that you can socket into the passive tree. So you can find jewels which are just an item, and the item will have randomized effects, and you can like craft the jewels the way that you would craft other kinds of items, and then you put them into the jewel sockets. But then there are the cluster jewel sockets. Where are they? So you can put a regular jewel into one of these, but you can also put a cluster jewel into these. And the cluster jewel contains a small expansion to your passive tree. And then inside that, there will be a randomized selection of passives for you to put passive points into. So you need to like respec if you get a really good cluster jewel and put the points into the cluster jewel. And then often large cluster jewels will have medium cluster jewel slots, so then you can put a medium cluster jewel and that expands off of your passive tree even more. It's ridiculous. But there have been several other systems introduced in, like, leagues and stuff that are just, hey, we gave you more slots to put random items into. Play that funky whistle. Hopefully that's not indicative of the kind of thing that they're looking to do in Path of Exile 2, of just, like, even more bullshit that you need to use these random crafting effects in order to craft to be exactly perfect. Just more and more items to re-roll until they're good. Feel like they would need a mechanical reset at some point. Yeah, I mean, that's what a lot of people are looking forward to Path of Exile 2 as being. A lot of people want Path of Exile 2 because it will be a mechanical reset. At least that's why I'm looking forward to it. I would like... I would like more... I appreciate, like, the need for this style of game to having, like, so much min-maxing and just random chance and stuff like that. I appreciate the need for that kind of stuff in this kind of game. And, like, the mechanical complexity of all of those mechanics interacting with each other and stuff is why Path of Exile has maintained its market share for so long. But I would still like more mechanics that are more approachable. I would prefer there being more mechanics where you have more control over them in ways that don't require just a truckload of either knowledge, grinding, or both. Just making some of these mechanics... Also, making some of these mechanics matter before you get to maps. That's something that a lot of these mechanics are quite bad at, is just nothing having much impact until you get to the end game. Withering Step leveled up, Lesser Multiple Projectiles leveled up. I leveled up.
No slump and get the beats bumping. Get up and keep the party jumping. No slump and get the beats bumping. Get up and keep the party jumping. No slump and get the beats bumping. Get up and keep the party jumping. No slump and get up and keep the party jumping.
I think it might take a while before Path of Exile 2 really comes into its own. Which I hope it finds enough of its own, like, identity and is enough of a... I just hope Path of Exile 2 is good enough for GGG, which is the development studio, to actually, like, really put the time and effort into it instead of just, you know, just splitting so much of their attention to maintaining Path of Exile 1. And I'm totally fine with them, you know, putting some amount of, like, regular maintenance work in Path of Exile 1. That's not a problem. I want Path of Exile 2 to be real and good. It seems like one of the things they really want to do with Path of Exile 2 is require more buttons from players, like require more active play, like avoiding single button play kind of stuff, which I understand why they would want that, but I also hope they do not lean too hard into that. I'm totally fine if it's just like, oh, you're going to perform better if you are using, like, a bunch of buttons. But you can still play the game without having to press a bunch of buttons, because one of the worst parts about Path of Exile 1 is just, like, mashing your potions. You reach a certain point in character progression where you will often not need anything, like any potions other than just like a health potion, and often not even that much. So all of your potions are stuff like, oh, increases your movement speed, increases your defense, increases your just a bunch of potions that are just buffs. Like all of your flasks are just buffs. And then you need to just mash those buttons all the time to keep the flasks active all the time. That's not it. It does not feel good to do that. It does not feel meaningful or rewarding to constantly be mashing my flask buttons. And yet, they're out there trying to ban people for setting up a macro that just presses all of their flask buttons at the same time. It's like, I know you want me to be more actively engaged in the gameplay, I know you want me to be hitting buttons, but that is often not what I want to be doing. I'm not trying to be, like, super, like, optimal efficient. I'm not playing hardcore or anything like that. I'm generally pretty happy if I can just, like, if I don't have to touch my keyboard at all in, like, normal gameplay. If a boss shows up, sure. If, like, a particularly difficult enemy shows up or something like that, then yeah, I'll put my hand on my keyboard. But a lot of the time, what I want to be doing in Path of Exile is just I want to point and click for my dude to move around, and I want to hit the button that makes enemies die. And it's not like I'm not paying attention. I'm still definitely playing more than enough for it to be engaging. But especially once you get to maps, like once you get to the end game, a lot of that is just grinding. A lot of that is just how efficiently can you clear these procedurally generated areas. I don't want to be sweating over that. You'd play on these games on controller if you could? Good news! You can absolutely play Path of Exile on a controller, and it works pretty good. I did a stream of doing that a while back. Well, well, well. There's a well! Oh god. Don't wall me in when this is all timing based. But yeah, I agree that holding down the left mouse button forever and ever can be uncomfortable. It's like evolution of combat in OSRS. From more AFK and uninvolved system for combat into more modernized MMO system. Yeah. I'm curious how it's gonna work out, because, like, I don't want Path of Exile to have... Oh, it just recovers all my stuff? That's nice. I don't want Path of Exile to have... I just don't want to be hitting, like, my rotation on global cooldown or anything like that. If I want to be doing that, I'll play Final Fantasy XIV. I'm playing ARPGs to amass loot and to left-click to find enemies and right-click to kill enemies. Well, you've been working on your game. I've been thinking if you want to have tap fire versus hold fire for different modes. Yeah, that's a good question. I generally find, like, having the option to... If there are different modes, so, like, if you mash the button, it acts like this. If you hold the button, it does this. Like Mega Man, you know, you mash the button and you rapid fire, or if you hold it, you do a charge attack. From playing the Mega Man games, what I often wanted in that, like, what I often wanted as an option in those situations was I would want to have access to a button. I would want access to a different button that was rapid fire for the regular button. I mean, even for mouse, right? Just, like, the idea of, like, clicking the button versus holding the button, and then having a different button that is, you hold it to rapid fire, to, like, do the rapid fire click. What? Imperfect Frozen Cannibal. Corpse level 18. Monster category humanoid. Casts Glacial Cascade. Casts Glacial Armor. Uses Glacial Hammer. Becomes empowered if allied fiery cannibal nearby. Glacial Cascade triggers Ice Nova on hit while empowered. Right-click this item to create this corpse. Huh? Why would I want that? Creates a dark effigy tethered to you. Damage you take from enemy hits is taken from the effigy's life before you, and damage from the effigy takes from enemy hits is taken from your life before it at doubled value. The effigy is destroyed if you're too far away. Warlock Power. Grants Pacify, Penance Mark. Enemies pacified by you take extra damage. What is this? What is this nonsense? Enemies display their monster category. Grants level 20 Ravenous skill. Ravenous consumes a targeted corpse, granting you a buff that causes you to deal more damage to and take less damage from enemies of the same monster category as the corpse. This seems so complicated. Removes all energy shield. Grants maximum life instead of max energy shield from equipped armor items. -6 maximum life per level. Affliction. Affliction permanently afflicts any of your damageable minions in a targeted area, causing them to take physical damage over time at an accelerating rate. Each such minion causes you to regenerate life at a rate based on the current damage of its Affliction debuff. Affliction minions explode if their life is lowered to a fifth the maximum. Bro, I ain't reading all that shit. I'm just gonna get the thing that lets me socket some randomized items for bonuses. That all seems like it could result in some, like, very powerful minion-based builds. But that's a lot to go over. That's a lot of mechanics you're introducing. Inventory is full. Oh, my whole ass inventory is full. You're right. Why did I identify both of the rainbow socket items? I'm a fool. Remember, what is this? Oh, the Traveler's Imperial Dyadic Resonator. Good old Crangled. The Scourge League was fucking weird. Oh right, so I got a Veil skill. So Veil skills are skills that have a bonus second version of the skill that you have to charge up. And usually you charge it up by killing enemies. So it's like, you get access to the regular skill, which you didn't used to, actually. It was weird. You get the regular skill, and you can use the regular skill like normal, but while you're doing your stuff, you also are charging up a super version of the skill that you can use for big bonus. It's a neat system. Oh, I didn't sell my belt. Hello, sir. I would like passive point, please. Thank you. Oh, I didn't actually kill the spider yet. Yay, passive points. Woo! Increased damage over time. Love it. Yeah, once you started getting the regular version of the skill when you use a Veil gem, it got a lot better. When it would just be, you have to spend a gem slot just to get access to the supercharged version of the skill, and then, like, the supercharged version of the skill, you're not getting... Like, you're not gonna have all of your cool support gems on the Veil version, because it can't go into the same socket. It was a weird system. And it didn't start giving you the, it didn't start giving you both versions of the skill for a long time, so for a very long time, Veil skills were just bad and rarely used. I think one of the only Veil skills that saw use was like Veil Cyclone, because it would just... You would just spin in place and vacuum all nearby enemies towards you. And so that was... People would just use that for the utility of gathering up all the enemies. And then you just blast them all at once. Some were downright worse than the regular version. Yeah, it was a bad system. There's been a lot of systems in this game that are like, wow, this is interesting in theory. I'm never using it, because actually using it is terrible. New hat. Honor Home. Increased level of socketed gems. Adds lightning damage to spells and attacks. Increased armor and energy shield. Increased rarity of items found. Reduced mana cost of skills. Ah! That's not bad. I'm not going to get a huge amount of effect from the +2 level of socketed gems part, because most of my skill gems that matter are green. Ooh. Regenerate 14.4 life per second. This would be great on a Righteous Fire build. What are you? Nothing. Yeah, I don't know. My current hat gives me maximum life. Well, that was productive. Vicious Projectiles. Supported skills deal more chaos damage over time, more physical damage over time, more physical projectile attack damage, but have less attack speed. That's probably good, right? Yeah, that's good. I don't have any new auras or anything, right? No, I got no auras at the moment. Well, if I can get a 4-link, that'll be spectacular. Here, let's get it leveling up. Oh, I didn't get the... I didn't get the waypoint in the Western Forest, but that's fine. I also did not complete the quest in the crypt. Oops. Alright, I was like super tired. So I got into the crypt and then went to bed. Who are you? Do I care about you? No. Or wait, do I? Yeah, no, I need to be a warden of the Magi. Which I am not. I am a wildwood primalist. This is a weird system. This is a weird league mechanic. I need to kill 500 nameless creatures, which are just a certain category of enemies that you randomly find in these zones. And in order to find the things to put into the sockets, I need to randomly find the right dudes in these areas. Weird. I'm out of here. I'm done with this nonsense. Ooh. Einhar's going to show up. Look at that, Einhar's here. Capture the enemy. Thank you. Oh, an enemy's following me. Begone, foul beast. Later, Tarn. Thanks for hanging out. Oh, this one's vivid empowered. Which means it has more item quantity. Ooh, it dropped a bow with a white socket. That's actually like a decent bow, but none of the sockets are linked, which is rough. Okay, I just need to keep going this way. I see. Ooh, rare strongbox. There's the big beefy monster that Einhar wants. He's got Trail of Lightning and Hasted and Crushing Claws and Handle Dive. And now it's dead. Ooh. Sure, I'll grab all this nonsense. There was another thing over here, wasn't there? Another shrine. Oh, right, there's a Trial of Ascendancy. Avoid the traps. Touch the plaque. Success. I was looking into, like, what the top builds for this league are. I went the wrong way. I was looking into, like, what all of the most popular builds are. And I feel like I feel like Tornado Shot has been just the most popular build for so long. It feels like almost every time I look at what builds are popular for like the top players, I feel like so often these days it's just Tornado Shot. What Tornado Shot does is you fire a projectile in the direction of where you click, and it sends a projectile there, and then once it reaches that destination, it turns into a tornado that fires a bunch of projectiles from it. It's a classic skill. It's simple, easy to use. And I guess its efficiency is just still one of the best. It doesn't do anything super fancy or special, it's just good. It has been pretty high investment. I guess that might be part of why it's still as popular as it is. It's a build that rewards you highly for, I guess the ceiling of the skill and, how powerful you can get it is, consistently very high compared to a lot of other skills that will, in theory, kind of reach their maximum sooner than Tornado Shot will. The fact that you can use it from, very far away also probably helps. It is generally a pretty safe skill. I feel like there's just not a lot of melee. I feel like I haven't seen a lot of melee builds getting a ton of love. Usually, if a build is getting into, into melee distance, then it is doing some garbage nonsense. Cast on crit or cast on channel or something like that, where it's just making a million projectiles by triggering 50 different effects at all times. Yeah, when I talk melee, I'm usually thinking just a basic melee-oriented build of just Cyclone, where Cyclone is the thing that is dealing the damage. Cyclone is still is one of the most popular skills, but you're not actually hitting people with Cyclone. You are using Cyclone as a vehicle to do nonsense. Just builds where you are using a two-handed weapon. That isn't a staff, I guess. Or a bow. A two-handed sword or a two-handed axe or something like that. I want to hit people with my sword. I mean, there will always be Flicker Strike. Flicker Strike is eternal. But it's also not good at endgame bossing. Because it turns out, randomly teleporting to an enemy to hit them over and over at very high speeds will result in you putting yourself into bad situations because you are not controlling where you are going. I had made a Flicker Strike build one league, and I was having a great time, and then I started fighting some of the Conquerors, which are some of the endgame bosses, and I fought the ice one that will like summon the fog, and you have to stay in a circle within the fog to not take a truckload of damage. And the boss would just hang out in the fog, shooting projectiles at me, and I'm just like standing there in the middle of the fog, just like, well, guess I'll die. Because either I just stay in the circle and do nothing, or I flicker strike at the boss and teleport directly into the fog, which starts dealing a truckload of damage. Yeah, Flicker Strike is fantastic at clearing out all the enemies in just a random area. But bad at bosses, which is sad. Sets me on fire when I activate it. Love it. It's nothing. Well, one of the reasons why I wanted to go back to Poisonous Concoction, I know it's not going to be as good as it was when the league where Poisonous Concoction was first introduced into the game. Poisonous Concoction was fucking busted. It was so crazy. It was so good. So I know it's not going to be that ever again, but Poison is generally just a good way to, like, it's a mechanic that scales into dealing with, like, more difficult bosses much better than a lot of other builds. Alright, let's identify some of this nonsense. That's another thing that would be nice to not have in Path of Exile 2. Please stop making me identify items. Or at least stop making me need a scroll of identify to identify items. Attacks have a chance to cause bleeding. Increased damage with bleeding, chance damage with poison, chance to poison on hit. That seems good. Is that good? There it is. If this were, like, if this bow had these same modifiers just on a high tier, I feel like that would be a real good bow. I'll put it in, like, guild storage or something. Maybe someone else will want to use a bow. Not really? Really? I mean, yeah, I guess for a high tier, like, more optimized build, you would want a lot. Like, you would want either or. You don't really want both poison and... Yeah, I guess. Well, it doesn't fit in the cell window anyways, so there. Yeah, I guess there are just much better weapon mods. There are some nonsense mods out there. Thank you for the book. Wow, I can choose to get stupider if I so desire. I love it. Alright, so that's... Yeah, that's everything in Act 2 other than continuing on. The Elder influenced weapon mods that, or poisons or bleeds inflicted deal more damage have been removed. Oh. Wow. Too good. Got banned. Enter the Vale Ruins. The twofer? Where the fuck is anything? There we go. There's wisps, there's enemies. You know what? I'll come back for it. There's a dozen wolves blocking me from touching the thing, so I guess I don't get to touch the thing. Oh yeah, this song reminds me, I haven't played in a few days now, but I've been playing a lot of not Path of Exile. I've been playing a lot of Persona 5. And one of the things that Royal added, or at least I'm pretty sure Royal added it, was an alternate battle song. Which I appreciate. Like, I think having some variety to the music in those games is good, instead of just having the same fight song every single fight. But it's just so hard to compete with Last Surprise. Last Surprise is such an absolute banger that I'm always disappointed when it's the other song instead of Last Surprise. Tinctures. I will level up my viscous projectiles. I don't think Takeover is mid, it's a good song, but Last Surprise is a great song. The new combat music in Strikers. Was the new song in Strikers Daredevil, or was Daredevil from Royal? And I just haven't encountered it yet. I played the first, hour, maybe 2 hours of Strikers. And it's gonna be weird going back to Strikers after I finish Royal, because Strikers was before Royal, but Strikers is cool. I can't remember if Strikers was more Musuo or character action. But also, I just really appreciate what they do for the side games of the Persona games. What are we gonna do for a side game for Persona 4? How about an Etrian Odyssey? Sounds great. How about a fighting game? Sounds great. How about we do a sequel to the fighting game? Yeah, perfect. How about a rhythm game? Thumbs up, baby. You got it. Alright, Persona 5 time. What we got? Another entry in the in the rhythm game? Sounds great. But also, how about we do one for Persona 3 at the same time? Love it. How about a full action game? Yeah, like it. Sounds good. How about a tactics game? Worked for Final Fantasy, works for us. I have Tactica installed because it's on Game Pass. I have not tried it yet. Woo! 15 alts. Let's go. I wonder what the exchange rate on Chaos to alt is nowadays. Because there were a couple of leagues where alts were like 10 alts to a Chaos, which was crazy to me. When I first started playing, it was like 20, 25 alts to a Chaos. Final Fantasy Tactics stream when? I've thought about it. If only just so I could, like, have extreme backseating in terms of, like, busted nonsense that you can do in that series. But part of the problem that I have with Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, specifically, because that's the one that I played. I have not played any of the other tactics games, is once you start to get to a point where you have the opportunity to try and, like, start grinding for some of your units to, like, try and make your squad better, I find that it's super easy to burn out on the game. And, like, I burn out so quickly when it comes to the point of, like, trying to improve and optimize my team. Like, I can generally handle grind in a game pretty well, but grind in tactics just... And, like, I've played Disgaea. I've played so many hours of Disgaea. But Tactics Advance is just like, go fight some guys and level up. I just immediately go, ugh. Fine. I guess. I don't get it. I don't understand it. The grinding in Tactics Advance is just boring. Yeah, that might be the case. Increased chaos resist. Ooh, neat. Alright, so I think that is all of the passives for this version of the passive tree. Time to graduate to the next level range for the passive tree. Okay, so I can go over here. Ooh, move speed. Let's go. I need to stop saying let's go. I need to start saying fuck yeah. Heck yes. Aw yeah. This is happening. That's what I need to start saying more. Yeah, the tactics in the fights in Tactics Advance are quite long. Now, let me start phasing. Thank you. I do need to. There's a couple of games that I want to get to once I finish Persona 5. Like, I want to... Nice. Once I finish Persona 5, like, I want to play Fuga 2. I want to check out... I want to try out Strikers again. I want to check out Tactica. Ooh, Grand Flasks. I think that's better than what I have, right? Yeah. Teach a black mage how to do trigonometry and the whole map is on fire. Yeah, I think that's why I didn't stick with Strikers the first time I played it, was because it does have a pretty slow start. Strikers gets bonus points for making Haru savage. God, and Haru fucking needs it. I was expecting, like, there to be a little more going on with Haru in Royal, but Haru really gets the short end of the stick of feeling tangentially related to the storyline where she gets introduced. She feels like a bonus character. I have not seen anything, like, I have not seen anything Royal specific for Haru from what I have played. She's the area of Persona. Like, what if you had to get Eri in Like a Dragon, but everything else about how Eri is treated in Like a Dragon was the same? That's how Haru feels. There's no reason to go in the Dread Thicket on the first go, right? I keep forgetting. The new character in Royal gets a lot of screen time and character building. It feels like the new Phantom Thief in Persona 5 Royal. It feels like she is having her own game at the same time as Persona 5 is happening. It feels like she just gets an entire other game happening in the background. Oh, she gets way more time than Haru. She gets more time than, like, any other character, I think. I think she gets more time than, like, Yusuke and shit, like... No, yeah, the new character gets so much stuff. Portal? When did I pick up a Portal gem? What? Huh. Neat. Yeah, I'll get Portal. Hat got a random Master Ball. I mean, kinda. He doesn't know, chat. It's so slow. Yeah, it's slow. It's not that good. I'm just surprised that I didn't notice more than anything. It's getting swapped out, like, probably sooner than later anyways, because since this is a no main hand weapon build, I'm gonna be starved for gem slots. Yeah, let's fucking go! Increased amount recovered, but reduced recovery rate. That's exactly what we were looking for. Let's augment it. Immunity to shock. Love it. Actually, let's take this Quicksilver Flask and put some stuff on it. Avoid being chilled and frozen. Reduce charges per use. That's not bad. But chance to avoid those. I want to undo those if they happen to me. Reduced effect, reduced duration. Sure, that's fine. Increased max charges. Great. Enhanced equipment quality. Fantabulous. Alright. I'm very excited to see what else is going on with Akechi in Royal. His social link in Royal has been so fucking good. I don't remember how much of that stuff was in the base game, because it has been so long. But that guy ate a spicy dango. I love him. Yeah. It was a spicy... It was the Russian takoyaki. Obviously. Woo! I also just love interacting with Akechi on a second playthrough. There's just so many great moments. Do I want that instead of increased mana regen rate? Yeah, probably. Fuck it. New unique just dropped, Hootis. What about this shield? You good? Life, resistances, move speed. It's got less life than my current shield. Eat your hamburger, Joker. Because I did my initial playthrough of the base game without a guide, there's been so many things throughout my playthrough of Royal that are just they're just constantly making me think, just like, was this in the base game? Did I just miss out on this entire thing? Because I just didn't know. So I have been greatly enjoying having not played the original for so long, because it's all so new to me, even the shit that was just in the base game. Warden of Eves, more tinctures. I'm never gonna find the lady that gives me charms. She's just never going to show up again. Traumatic orb. I had also just forgotten how big the Big Bang Burger Challenge burgers get. I remembered them being comically huge, but they are so much bigger than that. Have I played P3? I played Persona 3 Portable, God. Long-ass time ago. That was the first Persona game that I played. Because I just heard so many good things about the Persona games, so I was just like, well, Persona 3 Portable emulates really well. So I tried it out, and I loved it. And I was like, well, I guess I need to play Persona 4 Golden now. And so I bought a PS TV. I bought a PS TV memory card, a PS4 controller, despite not having a PS4, because the PS3 controller was not compatible with the PS TV. It needed to be a PS4 controller. And Persona 4 Golden. And I never used that PS TV for anything else. I played exactly one game on it, and frankly, worth it. I still have it in my closet. I'm not gonna craft. I'm not gonna go crafting life flasks until I start getting to life flask tiers that matter. I mean, I bought my PS4 to play just 2 games. I just wanted to play Persona 5 and Bloodborne. And one of those games I liked. I joke. I liked Bloodborne at the time. I did not like returning to it, though. Holy cow. Every single bad thing about Bloodborne made me unreasonably frustrated upon trying to return to it. Having to grind for Quicksilver bullets, having to grind for the flasks. Just so bad. Just, ugh. And it's so much more frustrating knowing that, like, grinding for health items is a solved problem. We figured that one out. We don't need to do this anymore. And you can still have, like, consumable healing items that you can, like, go out of your way to grind for to give yourself a little extra boost. Like, that's fine. I didn't have any problems with life gems in Dark 2. But Dark 2 still gave you the Estus flask. You still have a baseline of guaranteed healing, and it makes those games feel so much better. Yeah, just mod in an Estus Flask into Bloodborne. It would be a better game. And they brought back the fucking resource grinding in Sekiro. The spirit emblems. They made you grind for the fucking spirit emblems. Awful. Bad. Stop it. And it becomes even worse as a system where, like, if you don't know how many healing items a player is going to have entering an encounter, you will generally default towards, like, okay, we can generally expect the player to have used about this many healing items leading up to the boss, and so they will probably have around this many when they actually fight the boss. And if you have a system where those resources are non-self-replenishing, then you just end up with, like, well, if they don't have 20 blood vials when they leave the checkpoint, they're probably going to be underprepared for the boss fight. That sucks. What did you think of Yaklad's item grinds? I feel like turn-based RPG item economy is very different than something like a Dark Souls or a Bloodborne kind of item economy, because in most cases your character progression is usually not tied to the resource that you are using to buy the healing items. In a typical turn-based RPG. So then you end up with a system where you have, like, you can spend as much on these items as you feel like grinding, but because you are not regularly spending a tangible, you're not spending a ton of money on healing items. Usually you can stock up on, like, a reliable supply of healing items for 10 to 20% of however much money you are earning just by going about and doing random shit. Right? But with the idea of purchasing consumable healing items in an action game, in like a Soulsborne kind of game, you are the whole, like, your character progression is not tied to the money that you spend on healing items. The same thing was what applied in Sekiro. You could just buy the spirit emblems, and that was fine. It was still annoying, but it was fine. But in Bloodborne and in the Souls games, you use the same currency on buying things as you spend on... I know I'm just standing still talking, but I'm deep in thought on this topic. Because you are using the same resources on both character progression and on consumable item purchasing, then you end up with failure being so much more punishing. You end up with a fucking, like, old-style MMO punishment system of you are losing progression towards your next level every time you have to use these resources to compensate for a failure. And that sucks. Later, Ann. Thanks for hanging out. But yeah, that kind of system really frustrates me because one of the best aspects of utilizing RPG elements in video games, just video games in general, is the possibility of failing forward. And I'm a basic bitch gamer. I'm not going out and playing shit like Fear and Hunger and shit like that, like the super punishing stuff. I'm generally not going after that kind of thing. And it's like the Souls games, they generally feel... The whole design of them feels like they are designed to be punishing, but they're punishing in a way that it just kicks you while you're down. And I don't appreciate that. You know, that kind of punishment for failure, like... In most circumstances, from my point of view, I think the best punishment for a player if you are designing your game for players to be regularly making progress, generally you want them to fail forwards. And that kind of system, they are not failing forwards. No, none of these do anything. So maybe I just want basic bitch games for babies. Maybe that's the case, but... Like, one of the things that makes the Soulsborne games so much more approachable and so much easier, just in general, is you can keep leveling up. You can just level up more and make your character more powerful in order to overcome the challenge. And that's one of the reasons why Sekiro felt like it was just such a drastically more difficult game. It's because there were very few systems in Sekiro where you can just spend time to improve. But Sekiro, no, just get good. There were still ways to improve, but often it would be like, go over here and find, go exploring and find new tools. And often the tools were rarely ever things that would just give you a straight power increase. Usually it would be like, hey, here's a new option you have in combat. So, if a fight is really fucking hard, that fight will remain really fucking hard, but you will have more ways of dealing with the difficulty of it being really fucking hard. But if you are just incapable of, reacting to the boss's attacks and just finding openings, you're not going to beat the boss. You need to improve at fighting the boss in order to beat the boss. Stop giving me reduced amount recovered. All I care about is increased amount recovered. I would like more amount recovered than that, please. I know I said I wasn't going to craft a flask until I get a higher tier flask, but this has quality on it, so... Great. Love it. Does it have quality? Does not. Get out of here. But going back to the idea of healing items in the Yakuza games, I do think that they may in fact be a little too forgiving in the action games. Like a Dragon, the Dragon Engine games that are more action oriented, like Kiwami 2 and 6 and so on, like a Dragon Gaiden. I do think that those games may be a little too forgiving in regards to just giving you access to just massive stockpiles of healing items, because it's just like, oh, you just go into your menu and you eat as many staminans as you need to heal. And it's like, oh, I ran out of staminans. Cool. I still have 50 bentos. The turn-based gameplay of Like a Dragon did help. Like, having that number of consumables is less of a problem in a turn-based game, because using a healing item takes a turn. And so there is an action economy cost to it, and that balances it out by a pretty huge amount. But just being able to just pop open your menu and use as many healing items as you want, and being able to have like 5 of every single healing item in the game, is a little bit excessive. But also, you know, there's only so much that I really care about that kind of thing in those games, because if a fight is really hard, it's probably going to be really hard anyways, and if you're going to spend all of those healing items on, like, barely scraping your way through, then sure, that's fine. And a lot of the people who are looking for challenge and stuff like that are just not going to use the resources in that way. Maybe you need to spend a heat bar in order to use an item. Yeah, I don't think that would be the exact solution, because heat is kind of its own thing. But just like, yeah, like Final Fantasy VII Remake handled that in an interesting way of, like, you had your ATB meter in order to take non-basic attack actions, and using an item would take up an ATB meter section. And, like, that's reasonable, but coming up with something like that for a Yakuza would require kind of its own design, I think. But I mean, I could see just... Well, yeah, it's made particularly awkward with the Yakuza games because of, you know, the presence of items that give you heat, like, that restore your heat. Like, a Staminan restores your health and your heat. So if a Staminan restores your health and your heat, then once again, then it has, again, reverted to having no opportunity cost. Aside from just needing to have a certain amount of heat in the first place, I guess. Which is not nothing. Like, that would be a consideration if I were to try and find a way of solving this. Ironically, like, the old engine for the Yakuza series kind of solved this by just having limited inventory slots that were used for, like, not just consumable items, but, like, if you wanted to have weapons available and just have a couple of swords in your backpack, then those would take up inventory slots, and your armor would take up an inventory slot, like your accessories and stuff. So it's like, Ooh, yo! Howdy, howdy, Rich. How's it going? Thank you very much for the raid. You're catching me in the middle of talking about completely different video games than the one I'm currently playing. Kapusi! Oh, hey, Digi! Coming along as well. Nice to see y'all. For those... I guess I should do the raid speech. For those not familiar, I go by Hat. The England part is not... I intend on getting rid of it at some point, because I haven't actually worn the eponymous hat in years. I had a hat with a Union Jack patch on it. And for some reason I thought that would be a good basis for a username. But I stream the Yakuza / Like a Dragon series once a week, and that's on Tuesdays. Then Monday, Thursday, Saturday, I stream all kinds of stuff. On this Thursday, I'm either starting Devil May Cry or Mega Man Battle Network 3. So, it's, some disparate tastes. Mega Man May Cry. Yeah, I streamed Gravity Circuit recently, and that was pretty rad. Rich would suck at Yakuza so bad, it would be so funny. Getting so pranked. Would lose his money to Mr. Shakedown. Okay, to be fair, I also lost my money to Mr. Shakedown the first time that I played. Going to Japan this Friday and going to go to Kabukicho and ask every man if he's Kiryu. Do you think they'd appreciate that? I don't know. You know, as far as, like, real-life Japan goes, a lot of what I've been experiencing lately has been Japan Eats, YouTuber going around checking out various Japanese restaurants, and it seems like there's been some cool places that he's visited that could be neat places to visit yourself. I don't know. Every now and then I fall into a generic YouTube content hole. Everyone watching Japan Eats and Dancing Bacons. Oh god. Food is so cheap. Yeah. We might be having ramen from a nearby place here tomorrow, and it's like, even here in cheap-ass Illinois, some of, like, generally if you're getting the nicer, gooder food, it still costs real money. But Culver's will never betray us. Ooh, orb. I'm sure Rich could take Mr. Shakedown, but not in a fight. I don't know if I could get in on being horny for Mr. Shakedown, but... I'm not gonna yuck your yum. Five large orders of cheese curds. Yeah, just fuck me all the way up, fam. Yeah, could I get a Midwestern heart attack? You got it, Chief. Mr. Shakedown is like a half dozen different fridge-shaped men. It's only 4. But yes. Why are you so tough? Get out of here. Good lord. And then he sets himself on fire. Fridge-shaped guys for fridge-shaped women. Ah, yes. Asgore. The Mr. Shakedown of the younger generation. He needs to go train in the mountains. He is just Mr. Shakedown. If only Kiryu knew that he was going to start killing children, maybe he would have taken Mr. Shakedown more seriously. We all made mistakes in the 80s. What was that? Deadly Elements? Maybe. Majima and Kiryu meeting up at Cafe Alps. Hey, did you hear Mr. Shakedown got a divorce? Huh. Well, I guess he always did care more about fighting. It ended up a little more complicated than that. But you're not wrong. Where the fuck am I going next on this stupid sphere grid? Ooh, flasks. I love it. Oh yeah, also, for people who aren't familiar with Path of Exile, it is... it's Diablo 2.5 with a sphere grid. That is the simplest way to put it. You know, I actually don't remember if the sphere grid is shared between characters. Because the sphere grid is shared between characters in Path of Exile. Sphere grid. This. The passive tree. How do I hide that? There we go. So Mike, the class that I started as, the Ranger, starts down here, and they get access to, like, projectile bonuses and attack speed and accuracy. And then, like, if you go over here, there's, like, minions and spell damage and cast speed, and then if we go over here, there's armor and life and totem stuff somewhere. But if I wanted to go get some of these skills as this class, it'd take a lot of points, but I could go all the way over here and get these points if I want to. The stat Yggdrasil. Yeah. Also appropriate. No, I can't carry gloves. No. There we go. I'm so excited to play more Like a Dragon Gaiden tomorrow. It's so crazy to me that I have streamed all of the Yakuza games that I have played. Because I've played a lot of them. It is just wild to think that all of my Yakuza / Like a Dragon gaming from here on out shall be new games. Games that I have never played before. This is so exciting. It's my favorite video game series, and I get to share my first experiences with them, with you, the people. Oh, no move speed. So sad. I don't really appreciate you phrasing it like that. Smile. Yeah. Is there anything special that I need to do before I start going into the act? I don't think so. I keep checking the guild stash on reflex. 'Cause I'm just so used to there being a bunch of random garbage in the guild stash. Ooh, touch the orb. Oh god. Oh god, I'm dying. These are very angry dogs that are hurting me very badly. Are they dead? I couldn't tell behind all of the random nonsense they dropped. Alright, great. Only grew a mustache after you stopped playing World of Warcraft. There are plenty of games with stashes. There's still time. Alright. I'd forgotten that you can disable items with the Z key. And then I mashed the button a whole bunch in an area where I knew there were no items, so now I don't know if it's on or off. Okay, it is on. We gotta love a game that you get to touch orbs all day. Ooh, 4 links are starting to show up. Let's go. I said that I needed to stop, and then I did it anyway. How do we not have an orb emote? Well, we haven't had a whole lot of emote slots that weren't animated. I do need to go and update the emote slots, though, for sure. TF2 got updated to 64-bit? Whoa. That means more hats. TF2 is gonna end up like fucking Call of Duty sized if they keep adding hats. a football is... If you're traveling fast enough, a football is... An orb is like a football. Only need one emote. A B? I give that emote a B minus. Got him. I only need one emote. Ripcha. Right, I made the... Or at least I'm pretty sure I did this. The Wocha, or Kocha Wo, or whatever I have it named. That should be a tier 1 emote now, right? That's exciting. I don't remember why I made it a tier 2 emote in the first place. Maybe I was just like, oh, this is a really good emote. People are gonna want this. And it's like, yeah, they want it. They probably don't want it $5 a month want it, so. And also, I like seeing it, so I think it is A-okay being tier 1. Should also double check to see what all of the Twitch emotes got an HD remaster. I've been so bad about maintaining stuff like that. I'm sorry. Shoes? Nothing. I need to get Lago to appear on stream again, so we have more excuse to use Angry Goat. It's been a while. I think one of the factory building streams was probably the last time he showed up. There has been a lot of Satisfactory updates since the last time we factoried it up. The problem is I don't know if they've made dedicated servers any better, which was like the biggest problem that we experienced last time we were doing Satisfactory. Trying to host that game and stream at the same time, and my game was running at a blistering 10 frames a second on a good day. So that wasn't great. And then we got the dedicated server, and that shit just broke all the time. They said dedicated servers are part of the big upcoming 1.0 and no more updates until then. How upcoming is 1.0? So I think that might be a good enough excuse to start factorying again. They have a ton of content they've been working on in the background. That'll be 1.0. Nice. Promised to be this year. Excellent. Well, I suppose no promises, but that is definitely a very strong consideration of return of Factory once Satisfactory hits 1.0. I should definitely be doing more multiplayer stuff in general. Especially if it's just like, sometime this year, so then it's like, oh, the next big multiplayer thing I have planned turns out to be in fucking November. I should do more multiplayer Mario 64. That's the real shit. I just need to figure out more gimmicks. I need to figure out more gimmicks, and me and Lawyer Dog need to practice more. I do wonder how many ROM hacks have been exported to the multiplayer version at this point. There's probably a bunch on the Discord for it, because there were already a decent handful a while back. I think it's just like Super Mario 74 was one of the only ones that was like included in the client. I think basically all of the other ones were ones that you had to install yourself. You gotta get them off the Discord. Oh wait, no, I think they have a site for it now, right? Oh my god. This guy's going to take a calendar year to kill, and he hits very hard. The offshoot co-op Mario 64. Wait, what offshoot? Because the one we used was like the good one, as far as I was aware, and that one had the alternate character movesets from the start, I thought. Or maybe I just installed that like right away and just didn't think about it anymore. I don't know. Mario 64 Co-op Deluxe. Oh, so it's not EX? There's another one? Shows how out of the loop I am, I guess. Deluxe has a setting to work/connect with EX. I wonder what all's different about it then. Deluxe has the gun mod built in. Why is gun included by default, but not the character movesets? That's crazy. My mana is gone. Please. Oh, this enemy is Chaos and Wither resistant. All of my damage is Chaos. That's why he's so beefy. I'm here to kill with Chaos. Gonna put dolphin porn on my computer, that's why it's on there. Oh, let's see. Let's get some additional life. Do I care about like any of this stuff enough to sort my inventory right now? I don't. All of that was bonus. That was all bonus. There wasn't even progression over there. I'm being severely pranked! See, now this guy, reasonable amount of time to kill him. That other big stupid golem. Oh, I'm gonna die. I was far too brave when it came to the hot floor. Go, go, go. How many deaths do I have on this character? I have died 2 times. That's pretty good. Usually a lot of deaths end up being early on, because you've got cruddy gear. Once I get purity of elements, these enemies ain't gonna know what hit them. Purity of elements is not going to make me any better at murder, it's just going to make me better at not dying. But it's going to be great. Goodbye. Hello, sir. Thank you for your bracelet. Wait. Wow, yeah. I had forgotten how slow the portal skill was. Where do you check for deaths? You type /deaths into the chat box. I should probably just use portal scrolls. I was excited about having a portal gem just because they're rare, but not really worth it. 271 deaths. Holy cannoli. I don't think I've ever had a character that had that many deaths. That's a lot. Yeah, you don't get to check how many times you've died in real life by entering it into Twitch chat, I'm sorry. Increased evasion rating, max life, and life regen. It's not bad. I'll lose a little bit of fire resistance, but that's fine. This shield is good enough for an upgrade. I got some backwards shoes. Love it. Hello, sir. How would you like to buy a bunch of garbage? Here you go. And then also these. Because my inventory is larger than normal, I can't fit all of the things I want to sell into the sell menu. What a problem to have. Hatred, grace, despair, alchemist's mark. Alchemist's mark. Is that something I care about? I don't think so. I don't think I really care about any of these. I'll get grace, I guess, but... Excuse me, ma'am, do you have any other gems to sell me? Temporal chains, hatred, wrath, anger, haste. Haste is something. Purity of ice, purity of elements. I need that, but I need to become smarter. Oh wait, plague bearer. Need that. Give me that. And grace can just go in the pile. Now, how do I get smarter? Are there any passive points that I'm going to be getting for intelligence. Doesn't look like it. Are there any easily accessed big increases to intelligence? Int. That's gonna take a bunch of points. Huh. I would really like to have Purity of Elements. Increased strength and intelligence. Flasks have increased effect. You know what? Sure. I'll be a silly boy and do this. Give me that. Because Purity of Elements is great. You and nearby allies are immune to all elemental ailments. That means I can no longer be frozen, which is super good. Haste. Increased move speed, cast speed, attack speed. Sounds great. Purity of Elements does cost a bunch of mana, though. So I don't think I can afford... Yeah, I most certainly can't afford Herald of Agony, Purity of Elements, and Haste. Not yet. But I shall. Level 3 Clarity is fine. I can just stay level 3 forever. Alright, so let's put Purity of Elements there. Clear that, and we'll put Plague Bearer on that one, I think. Let's just hide that. Hell yeah. I have the power of God. Oh, because I moved my Withering Step gem around. Alright, here we go. Cool box. Orb. You can control and put the auras on those. Yeah, but I don't really have any other skills to put on my hotbar right now. But for demonstration purposes, you have a different set of hotkeys if you hold control, which is mostly just useful for assigning your auras to the control keys if you have a bunch of skills that you need ready access to. But I usually don't do that if I don't have a bunch of skills.
With no cares of which you went.
Ooh. I generally avoid playing builds that like to use a lot of different skills. I need my left hand available for drinking tea. I can't... I was looking at my mug of tea, and then I exploded. That'll show me, I guess. don't know if I should level up my Purity of Elements while I'm still in need of assigning a passive just to get enough intelligence for it. Yeah, I don't know how much longer I'm going to be going. At least a little bit longer. But I have been having fun. I got to talk about Yakuza. I got to talk about things about Bloodborne that make me angry. Very fulfilling stream, all in all. I don't actually enjoy going out of my way to talk about things that make me mad. I'm just goofing. If we get him to go off on Bloodborne for long enough, he'll say good things about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 6. Well, a man can dislike more than one thing at a time. As much as I hate to admit it. Oh no! That's another thing I hate! Ah, shit. Ah, jeez. Did I get all of the busts? I am not getting nearly busty enough. Where the heck are the busts? I found the bust. Should probably also level up my gems. I guess I don't need dash on a gem anymore, probably. I could probably go with getting rid of that, because I have a thing that puts dash on cooldown assigned to left click, so it's just constantly being activated, so I'm never actually able to use dash. Chaos and Wither resistant. No, stop. I must kill. Let me get all the spice, all the dust. Path of Exile of the Endless. All about acquiring dust. Ooh. I was forced to see a Family Guy clip. They recited the Leroy Jenkins meme and even changed art styles to look like World of Warcraft for 10 seconds. Wow. I can't remember the last time I saw a Family Guy clip. Oh, wait. Okay. I can't remember the last time I have seen an unedited Family Guy clip. Because I was like, when have I seen Family Guy? Ooh! When have I seen Family Guy recently? And then I remembered there was a remix of the guy in the Hummer watching Madagascar on his in-car television. It was a remix of an Earthbound song. It was great. These animals are so fucking funny, they make me want to merge into traffic. Megalovania. It's not an Earthbound song, and you know it. You're just trying to make a funny skeleton meme. And I'm sick of the internet drawing that skeleton with his ghost dick out. They need to stop. But how else would he get his boners? Oh, I see. It's that kind of day, huh? Yo! Fucking Brooks over here. Gather up all of the crew, it's time to ship up Brinks' brew. That's another song. That's another big, fun anime song that they. Well, I guess the Jujutsu Kaisen song wasn't that like fun and jaunty in the first place, but Binks' Brew, they made that song fucking sad. Top 10 saddest anime moments. You know what is fun and jaunty? The Hunter x Hunter Next Time on theme. Yeah. It's gonna have a goddamn attack of some sort. The emotional whiplash. Binks' Brew is the first time that an anime made you ugly cry. Yeah, that's believable. I mean, just like, the way that you have to talk about One Piece, just... One Piece as a show is generally pretty deranged, just with all the different varieties of nonsense that are in that show. But because it's so long, the way that you end up talking about One Piece will always just make people they just don't believe you. Just, there's no way that it's worth watching over 1,000 episodes of. And it's like, you're kinda right. But I did, and it was great. It made me cry for a boat. Yeah, I also cried for the boat! That boat was fucking sad. In theory, One Piece is currently, like, in the process of moving on to the final story arc of the series. Which is crazy to think about, but also based on, like, all of the shit that has been happening for the last 150 chapters. That makes sense. This is at least 5 more years of one. Oh yeah, like, it's not ending anytime soon. But it has never been more moving towards an ending than it is right now. I think I am a chapter or 2 behind on the manga. I am a fair few episodes behind on the anime at this point. And because I'm caught up on the manga, I'm not super endeared towards catching back up to the anime. Just because it would take a while. And currently there are just other series that I have not experienced before that I should probably watch for the first time. I've heard good things about the elf. Oh wait, I already have the Decantus. What am I doing? I'm caught up on the Dungeon Meshi anime though. And as the animated series for Dungeon Meshi continues, I am glad to see they are doing more they're doing more of the stylistic stuff that you would expect out of Dungeon Meshi, which I've been greatly enjoying. And so far, I think they have been keeping so close to the manga that it's actually kind of disorienting. It's surprising. It is very surprising how close they have been keeping it. There's been chapters where it's just oh, I remember how this chapter goes, and then it's just one-to-one, but animated well. It's not bad that it is just one-to-one, because Dungeon Meshi, the manga, is so goddamn good. I don't care about tinctures. I need charms. Says the man at the Ren Fair. Withering Step, LMP, sounds great. Like seeing someone say, this is the first anime pro tag that isn't a perfect, but a freak. I worry about using, derogatory term endearing when describing Laios, just because of, the sort of representation that his character as written is. But, God, I fucking love Laios. He's so good. And, I'm trying to figure out ways to talk about it without spoilers, because I don't want to spoil Dungeon Meshi, because it's so good. It's the best. But the forms in which Laios engages with his very his highly invested interest in monsters, the ways that he demonstrates his interest in monsters, and the ways that he uses his interest in monsters as the series goes on just keeps getting better and better. When I think of moments where that aspect of Laios' character are used the best, I think about shit that happens, like, at the very end. I think of shit that just happens very late because of the way that they are built up over the course of the series. Like, the character writing in that series is just so goddamn good. And yeah, they've been, like, over the course of the 6 episodes that are currently available, they have, like I said, they've been doing more and more of the stylistic stuff that you want out of the series. And some of that is just, like, targeted, like, very specific moments of making the characters look weird in a specific way. But also just, there's a lot of moments like that where that, like, the characters are just drawn in different ways, not for comedic impact or anything like that, or for, like, one specific moment, but just because that's just what the style is like, and it's just like, in this moment, it feels correct for him to look like this. And him looking like that is not a gag, it's not a bit, that's just how he looks right then. And shit like that is why I think Studio Trigger, like, keeping themselves on a relatively short leash as far as how much creative liberty they are willing to take. So far, I've seen, like, one thing that was done notably different. It's not even notably different, just, like, one thing that was immediately recognizable as different from the manga, and all that is just a more refined setup for a thing that happens later on that the manga already did set up for. It's just different because now, like, most of them, like, the manga is done now, but the manga was almost done when they started working on the series. So it's just like, it just makes sense that they would bring in just, like, some little extra foreshadowing stuff. It's so good. Dungeon Meshi is so good. It's my favorite. I don't know if it's going to overtake the spot as just, like, my definitive favorite anime, because that spot is pretty highly contested, but I cannot imagine there ever existing a manga that I hold in higher regard than Dungeon Meshi. And if you're out there watching or listening on the second monitor while you do something more important, if you're only ever going to put any stock in any opinion of mine ever, I gotta tell you, Dungeon Meshi, 10 out of 10. Your favorite anime and why is it never P2? I don't think Hunter x Hunter is my favorite anime. I might put Cowboy Bebop and Trigun over Hunter x Hunter. Hamtaro, when we work together, it's much better. My best friends, we love sunflower seeds, yum yum yum. Little hamsters, big adventures. Right, this is a weapon. I don't care about this. It's Shiver Sting. Why am I paying that much attention to Shiver Sting? I melt down Shiver Stings to make mugs. Get out of here. Worthless. This helmet gives intelligence, so I could use that to clear up some stat space. I can't use that. Why am I even looking at it? Increased attack speed, max life, armor. What I need is a 3-link that isn't some shitty gloves. What I need is a 4-link. That's what I need. Unearthed memories of Tom having a human face? Oh no. You can't do that. That's not okay. Yeah, none of these are good enough, probably. Well, yeah, +4 to max life. That's nothing. I do appreciate them, like, maintaining Steve Bloom as Tom for as long as they have. More life. The Battlefront. Oh yeah. The Battlefront 2. Star Wars game. Gotta collect the dust. No, there's no dust over here. Darn it. Thank you for the follow, Chris Reed VA. So wild they killed the first version of Tom and made a new one that was taller. Yeah, I remember following the, what did they refer to it as? The Infection storyline. And they had fucking Flash games on the Toonami site that you could play along to like see, like, get extra details about the storyline. And they held, like, online polls about, like, hey, like, what should we do with the new ship and the new Tom and stuff like that when this all goes down, because it was pretty clear that, like, even if Tom, like, the original Tom made it, like, he was gonna need to be fixed up in a pretty major way. But then it's just like, no, the original Tom just straight up dies, and they just put his consciousness into a new body. Or something, I don't remember. I was, like, fucking 10? I was a child. Yeah, he gets caught in the goop. Toonami. Toonami really been there for you. A decent number of my childhood years, I did not live in the States. A lot of my upbringing was in Canada, and there's not a Toonami equivalent on the Canadian equivalent of Cartoon Network. Like, they didn't even try to do, like, Toonami or Adult Swim. It was just like adult cartoons would come on later at night, and like like I think at a certain point they started doing some like specific blocks for it of just like, hey, this is YTV, but currently the adult cartoons are on right now. But I don't think they ever had like a formal name for it or anything like that, like Cartoon Network did. Remember being unable to grasp what you were watching at 3 a.m. Fooly Cooley and Big O. Yeah. I was always very excited when the anime started coming on like late night at YTV. There was a while where they were running Lupin the Third, some of the Red Jacket episodes, and it would come on at like midnight, which was like way past when I was supposed to be in bed asleep, but I would just turn the TV back on and just turn the volume way down. But they would run Lupin the Third in that time block for a while, and then they stopped running Lupin the Third, and they started running Read or Die the TV, which I think was the name of the TV series for Read or Die. And I remember just, like, as a youngin' who hadn't really watched much in the way of anime up to that point, I remember being so fascinated by it. I don't know if Read or Die is any good, but just because it was an anime that I was just not familiar with. Like, I was kind of familiar with Lupin the Third. I was familiar with Naruto and Bleach and Dragon Ball Z. Like, I knew all of those as anime, and just, like, other people knew that anime, so I knew that anime. But Read or Die was just like, what is this? It's like a weird anime. I don't remember if the term indie was much of a thing as far as I was aware at that point in my life, but I probably had it in my mind. Like, the same concept as indie was probably what I had in mind for Read or Die, which is not the case, but... yeah, I just found it so interesting. And then, like, the concept of Read or Die is there were people who could control paper like it was magic, and like that was the whole basis of the series. And there were points, and I was definitely watching that show too young, because there are boobies in that show. There were points where people get, like, fucking impaled on pillars of paper and shit like that. I shouldn't have been watching that. Tom died again in 2019. We're up to Tom 6, and yet they keep bringing Steve Bloom back. God bless him. It's overall a 7 with some bumps up to an 8. Has some fun stuff. Need to actually watch anything about Lupin? So, here's the problem with watching Lupin the Third. If you start from episode 1, you really feel the lack of quality in terms of just, like... just very slow storytelling. Just very low action. Very slow pace, and also the audio quality of just like, and this, I was watching it on Crunchyroll, which is like, you would expect to be one of the higher quality sources, but like, anytime there was a loud noise, it would just be the worst fucking sound. So going that far back, you really start feeling the problems of watching a genuinely old Japanese animation series. bizarrely inconsistent organization. Yeah, it's... I'm sure at a certain point you start getting, like, more consistent quality in, like, the pacing and the storytelling and the presentation and all that. I'm sure at some point then all of that gets much better, but... Like, if you wanna start from episode 1, you gotta be ready for some... You gotta be ready for some stuff. But... what I watched when I was younger, that got me, like, into Lupin. I never stayed with Lupin, but... Like, what got me interested in Lupin as a youngin' was... were Red Jacket episodes. I've heard that, like, the newest Lupin series might get a little too adult and edgy, but that may have just been the Fujiko miniseries. A lot of this is secondhand information. I only watched, like, very early stuff and Red Jacket stuff. And also Castle of Cagliostro. Castle of Cagliostro is just like... Well, a lot of these, a lot of the other movies by this director seem a little too emotionally involved for me to just, like, hop in on a whim. But Castle of Cagliostro is a Lupin thing, though, so that ought to be an easy watch, and it was great. You're reading the manga and had no idea how well the chapters were serialized. Huh. You love Hellsing, you can watch it, you can handle edgy. The problem, it's not necessarily that it being edgy being the problem. It's, like, a lot of what makes Lupin the Third good is not really based on any kind of edginess. It's like if Phoenix Wright got edgy. Like, Phoenix Wright is a similar kind of vibe as Lupin from my perspective. And it's like, what if Phoenix Wright started saying fuck? That's Apollo Justice. No. Apollo Justice wants to be hardcore, but his mom won't let him. They try and make Apollo, like, in 5, they try and make Apollo's design look so cool and badass, but he's still absolutely a huge weenie. Court drama in the Pokemon universe, though. Meowth, that's right. Alright. That's the stream. Colt said a joke that was too bad, and now we have to stop. But also, I've been streaming for like 3 hours, and I started way late, and I'm tired, so... Upcoming streams. So tomorrow/Tuesday, depending on time zone, is going to be more Like a Dragon Gaiden. Super excited to play more of that. Thursday is going to be the start of a game that is going to take multiple streams. Currently, my thoughts on the matter are it might be either Devil May Cry 1 to make up for stopping Final Fantasy 16, or Mega Man Battle Network 3, because I've wanted to get around to that for a while now. Saturday... So my birthday is on Friday, so I think Saturday I'm probably going to try and arrange for a Mario Party stream, because it's been a while. It's a little short notice to try and fly Asp into town and try and get the whole crew together for some in-person partying, but that is something that I want to do sometime this year. because I do have Mario Party Superstars, I have Super Mario Party. I might need to get my hands on copies of a couple of the other Mario Parties. I think I have 10. I think we have 8 and maybe 9. So we might have all of the Mario Parties that are not easily played over the internet. But this Saturday it'll probably be... I don't know which ones exactly we're gonna play, because I usually want to play 5, because I think 5 is overall my favorite, but 6 is also pretty good. I usually prefer the GameCube ones, but it's been a while since we played the N64 ones, and maybe we could play some of those and have a bad time. I don't know. So, that's the plan for the next couple of streams. Thanks again, Dan, for the 10 gift subs and $50 donation. Thanks again, Colt, for the 5 gift subs. Strixel OS, Chris Reed VA for the follows. Rich for the huge raid. And, thanks again to everyone for showing up and hanging out and chatting. Who we raiding? Because it is kinda late. Zeldrick is currently streaming Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII, the remake. So I think we'll go swing by Zell, good old friend of the stream, and hopefully y'all have a good time over there. I'm probably gonna have a bowl of cereal and then relax until I go to bed. Have a good one, and hopefully I'll see you all again on Tuesday for Like a Dragon Gaiden. Have a good one.